The climate at the time of Malcolm and his utterances was the climate of intimidation, oppression, segregation, prejudice against black people.
Until this time, Malcolm X was little known outside the Muslim movement, but that would change almost overnight.
Last week on Newsbeat,
word of the growing phenomenon reached a young journalist who hosted a local news magazine.
First time I heard the name of Malcolm X, first time I heard of the name of Elijah Muhammad was back in, I guess, June or May of 1959. A fellow by the name of Lou Lomax, who was working with me at that time as a reporter, he said, I think I have a story that might interest you, Mike. What's that? Nation of Islam. What's that?
Thank you, Lou, and we'll be back with you in just a moment.
Lomax and Wallace produced a documentary called The Hate That Hate Produced on black nationalist groups in New York.
There is no salvation in Christianity for blacks.
The program introduced the Nation of Islam and its leader, Elijah Muhammad. It was also Malcolm X's television debut, and he was an instant star.
You can go to any little Muslim child and ask him where is hell or who is the devil, and he wouldn't tell you that hell is down in the ground or that the devil is something invisible that you can't see. He'll tell you hell is right where he has been catching it, and he'll tell you who the one who is responsible for him having received this hell is the devil.
Elijah Muhammad was not a very persuasive, certainly not a charismatic figure, and Malcolm was all of that and more.
In 1963, Alex Haley approached the now famous Malcolm X about telling his life story.
He said, I'll agree. I think my life story may help people to appreciate how Elijah Muhammad salvages black people.
The two began meeting in Haley's Greenwich Village studio. At the start, the project seemed doomed.
Malcolm X keeping him at distance at first, speaking only in the broadest of terms and speaking about Elijah Muhammad. And then finally, Alex Haley said, well, hold on, this is your story. We don't heard what Elijah Muhammad said, but what do you say? What do you think?
When their collaboration began, neither man knew where their work would lead. What they did know was that time was of the essence. Theirs was the unusual job of documenting a life as it unfolded. Malcolm X became an important voice in the national debate on racial justice, although he was definitely not a part of the civil rights movement. He was a harsh critic of Martin Luther King Jr. and the strategy of nonviolent protest, which he saw as begging the white man for God-given rights.
Martin Luther King Jr. was considered the most wild, the most reckless, the most willfully disregarding of American society black man until the rise of Malcolm X. So the thing is that he made Martin Luther King Jr. look good by comparison.